my number 10 spot is Henry's Forest. Henry's Forest is one of those episodes with a lot of character development, and I think it does justice to Henry in a beautiful way. The scenery and sets also amaze me. Oh my god, they're beautiful. And this is just a thing of Henry's personality we've never seen before. This is something new that we've come to know about our favourite number 3 engine. But let's move on to number 9. So in number 9 is another twofer, Grandpuff and Sleeping Beauty. I'm really recommending like Grandpuff, but you know, you kind of have to watch both, and I did put both highly on my list anyway, so they might as well just go into one. These two episodes tell the story of like an epic, if you will, you know, this old railway that was lost long ago, and then these people come back and find it, and it's all very, very, you know, sort of rescue style. Also, I love the characters of all three of them. I love all three, you know. Smudge's tail is cool too, even though he is really just Rheneas painted green, but whatever. It's just so atmospheric and such a good like bunch of episodes to watch. Go watch them. Just go watch them. You'll see what I mean. But let's move on to number 8. And in number 8 is Old Iron. What a class episode. Oh my god. It's just the runaway and Edward's determination to get James and save him. James really has a habit of running away, doesn't he? I think we should sort him out. But the key thing to note about this episode is the theme and Edward's determination. Those are the two factors that make it number 8. It's just the length of it and how long it goes on for and the tenseness. Is Edward gonna manage to save James before he crashes? Obviously the probability is that he does, but you know, there's still that element of doubt. The narration is beautiful and I just love it, so you know, that's why it's at number 8. But now let's move on to number 7. Next up in number 7 is You Can't Win. Now why I love this so much is the trick that Duke plays on Stuart. What a good concept. It's been done before, you know, an engine's like stuck or derailed or something and another engine has to push them, but I think it's best here. It seems like that, but then it subverts your expectations when it's revealed that Duke isn't actually that bad of a breakdown. So, you know, he carries on and he pushes Stuart, and then it looks like that Stuart derailed and Duke had to help. It's beautiful, and not to mention that ending. Oh, mwah, just pure gold. Stuart's reaction to finding out he'd been tricked is just, wow, just beautiful. Everything about this episode is beautiful. I don't know, technically this is a Peter Sam episode, even though I said I wasn't gonna give him a Peter Sam episode, but it's a Stuart and Duke episode, so I don't know. But let's move on to number 6. Now number 6 is a season 5 episode, Rusty and the Boulder. This episode has a lot of mood and atmosphere to it. The best part though is the chase with the boulder and the explosion at the end. This was Thomas the Tank Engine at like its peak pretty much. Also, I believe this is the first episode to use Rusty as a main character, so you gotta love that. And the ending is just, oh, sends shivers down your spine. But enough of that, let's move on to number 5. Edward's determination in this episode is just, mwah, oh, beautiful. And some of those more beady-eyed and observant buggers amongst you might have noticed that I actually have swapped the positions for Old Iron and Edward's exploit, because in my ranking every season 2 episode I put Old Iron above Edward's exploit, but here it's the other way around. So what am I doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I've changed my mind. Yeah, I don't stick to that opinion anymore. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm just going to keep changing my opinions and put the other higher than the first. And you know what? It's fine. I'll just say that they're tied, pretty much. But yeah, at the moment, I think Edward's exploit is better than Old Iron. Edward is at his absolute lowest here. You know, he has the weather against him. His axles are broken. He's just completely effed. Despite all that, though, he still manages to get his train home. I mean, the dedication. Engines like, you know, Thomas or James or Henry probably would have just given up. In fact, they do, probably, in certain situations like that. But no, Edward pushes through and he does it. And it's such a good feeling when it does, you know. My God. What a good episode. But let's move on to number 4. In number 4, for me, is Escape. Now, I know a lot of people put this as their favourite. A lot of people see this as a really good one and deserves to go in number 1. I agree with you. The theme here is amazing. Reminds me of, like, the Escape theme, the Great Escape theme. Or, like, Indiana Jones. And some of the shots are gorgeous. And, we get Oliver, who is one of the best characters in Thomas as a whole, in my opinion. But I just think the top 3 are so much better. This is also the episode that makes me realise that I prefer Douglas over Donald. Because, Douglas is a badass, smashes up a brake van and saves the steam engine from scrap. What a hero. Contradictory, but hero nonetheless. So many more things that make this episode amazing as well, but I don't think I have enough time to go through it all. But just know this. Watch Escape, alright? Watch Escape and let it absorb you, alright? Because this is a beautiful episode. The Unlucky Tug put it best when he said that this episode is a gateway episode so that people delve into more of the backstory and, the context surrounding this episode. And it's quite interesting how real-life events influence this episode. And then you're hooked on trains for life like I am. Bloody hell. But enough about that said, let's move on to our top 3. Just before we get to the top 3, I just want to remind you to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It helps me to understand what kind of videos you want to see, And what's that on my channel? I made a playlist for these. Oh, yes, I did. Every single episode that I've mentioned on this list is going on that playlist. Alright, so if you want to watch one or you're unsure about, is it really that good? You can go and see for yourself. Right, you don't even have to search for it. You can just click on the playlist and watch them because they are that good. So, you're welcome. I know. But let's move on to number 3. So number 3 is Haunted Henry. My God, what a spooky episode. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, this is proper, like, giving you the chills. There's at least one bit you'll find weird. Like, at least one bit in that entire 4-minute, 30-second runtime that you will find weird about this episode. And I love its spooky set, the atmosphere really, really brings sort of like such a good element to it. Henry's truck's derailing and falling into a ravine look awesome. And it's nice how everything is tied together in the end. I'm not going to spoil the ending. Let's just say things come to a nice conclusion. Also, Gordon rushing past me, that was terrifying. Gave me right heart palpitations. Think I need to go and see a doctor. I'm gonna die. Henry's episodes have always been some of the best, They've never been that bad until we got to season 7, and then they were awful. They were awful from there. This kind of really was Henry's last good episode, because I don't think he had one in season 6. Yeah, I don't think he had one. But anyway, let's move on to second place. In my number 2 spot is Duncan Gets Spooked. It's my favourite episode of my favourite season, so no doubt it's going to be in the top 10 somewhere. There are a multitude of reasons why I love Duncan Gets Spooked, but I'll just simplify it to a few. Peter Sam's trucks crashing into the ravine at the start of the episode is beautiful in a sadistic, psychotic, murderous way. Along with the actual, image of the train falling off the bridge and splashing and drowning in the water. I mean, you actually get to see that. How creepy, how spooky, how kind of sadistic in a way. And then when Duncan thinks he sees the ghost, we never get clarification if it is actually the ghost trying to communicate with him or it's just Duncan seeing things. We never know. We never get an answer to that, and that's what we love about this episode. That's what people who love this episode love about it. It's usually that. This episode plays with tone a lot, and it has so much packed into its 4-minute, 30-second runtime, and it's just such a barrel of emotions. It's a roller coaster ride. But regardless, let's move on to my top pick, my favourite episode of Thomas and Friends of all time. And my top pick is obviously Edward the Very Useful Engine. Thomas's Train. Thomas and Stepney. No, I'm just joking. It's actually Percy's Chocolate Crunch from season 6. Now, obviously, it looks like I'm joking again, doesn't it? I mean, it looks like I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm serious. I have a lot of nostalgia with this episode, and I realise this is now going out on April Fool's Day since the timing of this, and you'll probably be thinking that I am actually... I'm not. This is actually my favourite episode. Anyway, the episode is beautiful. I mean, well, not beautiful in the visual sense, but, like, from a story aspect, I love it. James cannot be the only engine that wants to stay clean, alright? That's not his only personality trait. He tries for so long and it all comes to a close when he gets to the chocolate factory and he smashes right through it. A lot of that, him going through the chocolate factory, you don't see it. It's very much left to your imagination, that bit of what happens to him while he's going through. I like that. I think it's something I didn't bring up in my ranking every season 6 episode video, but I think it's worth mentioning, you know. You don't really get to see what happens to him. And I'll admit, for a long time, Percy was my favourite character. I mean, obviously, Peter Sam is now, but for a long time, Percy was the one. Right, Percy was the one. And at the end, all of the engines call in Percy names related to chocolate. The best bit of the episode. I mean, it's even as good as him actually going through the chocolate factory and crashing. It's just so creative. It's so funny. I mean, even Gordon's one, he doesn't put effort in, but it's still funny. And again, with the ending, it's so rewarding as well, you know. Percy finally gets a wash down after suffering through all that hardship and going through the chocolate factory, getting all dirty and rank. He actually gets what he wants. And that's what I love about this episode. It ends on such a high note. You know, it doesn't end on a spooky note like Duncan Gets Spooked. I prefer more happy endings. I don't know about the rest of you, but I prefer more light-hearted ones, like with season 7's The Spotless Record. It's cheesy, but I like it, alright? Leave me alone. Anyway, I'll keep this outro short and sweet. Thank you guys so much for watching. A Tales from the Railway episode will be coming, I promise. And another Rating the Railway series video is sure to follow. Thank you all so much for your continued support as well. Loving it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.